Hello, welcome to another episode of Wellness Blueprints. I'm Jess Milner. I'm so glad you're here to nourish your roots with me. So, today I want to talk a little bit about, well, it's really about, your sexual center, your sacral chakra, that entire area, and what it really is holding there, and what we can start to uncover by by understanding or gaining some amount of understanding about what kind of misunderstandings are going on there that could be presenting as physical symptoms for you. So, of course, when we think of physical symptoms in that area, we're going to think of issues with libido, we're going to think of fertility issues. And of course, those are very valid. Those are ways that this can manifest in physical ways. Of course, your because this is going to of course be connected to your gonads, your ovaries, testicles. It's going to be connected to those things. So um this is really when you get deep down, it's coming from a deep seated limiting belief. Okay. And we all have, limiting beliefs at our core levels. And they just, they manifest in different ways for different people. So sometimes it is a fertility issue, a libido issue, or, just hormonal issues in that department. So a lot of the time, this can really kind of like pop up and smack you in the face when you are a woman who is starting to go through perimenopause and menopause. It is an emotional roller coaster for sure. I'm sure so many women out there are nodding their heads when I say there are some months, I'm still cycling every month, but there are some months where I am a legit crazy person for a couple of days. And I think back on it and I'm like, oh my gosh, why was I so mad? And it's just, these things are just coming back up. And your body is going through a change. There are hormonal changes, there are things going on. So a lot of the time, some of this stuff will start to come and bubble back up to the surface, and it's kind of a cry for help. And it's also your body trying to show you where you need to work on things. So I'm of course my whole thing is combining spiritual and physical wellness. So of course if you're having certain physical issues, we want to handle those kinds of things. We want to supplement or lifestyle changes to handle if different things going on with the hormones. It's more difficult to lose weight. It's more difficult um to keep your emotions in check. You might be, just disrobing everywhere you go because suddenly you're so hot. I saw this like meme or something, this like little video the other day, and it's this woman and she's sitting there and it was like cold outside and she's sitting there and there's like steam coming off of her head, and like it was a joke. Like, I don't know, maybe she really was having a hot flash. I'm honestly not sure. But like they were like, look, this woman's having a hot flash, and there was like literal like steam coming off of her. So, there are all these different things that happen. I mean, ladies, like the libido starts to do all this weird stuff. You're like, oh my gosh, I've had multiple women tell me that suddenly they are super crampy during like ovulation, which they don't really remember ever noticing that they were ovulating before. So there's just all these different things going on during this time period, that we have to go through. And a lot of the time, it is something deep seated that is limiting, and it's underneath, and there are these things that are coming out. So it really burns down to shame. There's lots of different emotions that you can put into this area, of course. And working as an emotion code and body code practitioner for many years, I can tell you that just because certain emotions are originating in certain places and certain organs and stuff doesn't mean that that's the only places that they are found. But you really get down to shame. And shame, these things are going to be different for different people, of course. So, the thing of it is you really, it's this is all about your nervous system not feeling safe. And, so there are different things going on throughout the different levels of your nervous system not feeling safe. So with this, you sort of, you feel shame. And with that is kind of like feeling like it's not safe to be yourself. So how will this have manifested in your life in a physical sense throughout the years. So maybe you can relate to some of these things. Maybe you have been masking for many years. I can attest to that. If you have a neurospicy brain in any way, shape, or form, there's so many different ways that you can have a neurospicy brain. But often at some point in the beginning of life, we tend to be shamed into thinking that it's not okay to be us. Oh, well, when I act like myself, people don't like me or they think I'm weird or whatever. And so then you put on a mask. You put on a mask, you behave differently. I mean, obviously, you're going to behave differently around certain people, like I always like joke, like when I'm around my mother-in-law, I try to like behave myself because, like, I mean, like I'll curse like a sailor all the time, but she doesn't like that. So I try to behave when I'm around her, it's just like a respectful thing. But so there are certain times, like obviously you're going to behave differently at work than you do at home in some manner. I mean, you're still being, and you can still be your authentic self by, acting differently when you're around different people, or just like, you act differently at a dive bar than you do at a five-star restaurant. It's just like you can be in both places and be your authentic self, but it's going to just be a little bit different, maybe a little different part of you. So that's not really what I'm referring to, because that is healthy. You do need to be able to kind of adapt to your surroundings. Um, but just like the general feeling, and a lot of times, what I'm noticing is as we get into this change in life, we're starting to notice, we can pick it out and go, that really wasn't me. I think I'm masking. I'm not, why don't I think it's safe to be me? So there's some other things that often happen that can be a part of this, and that's when you really get into things like addiction. Um, and I mean, really, it's any kind of addiction. It could be binge eating, like a um, not really an eating disorder, but an eating addiction. Okay, and like any kind of numbing. So we're talking drugs, alcohol, um, a sex addiction. There's all different kinds of things like that. But these things help you to hide from who you are. And if you deeply somewhere, and I'm not saying you're consciously thinking this, because you're not, you're probably not just sitting there consciously thinking of this. You know what I mean? It's not unless you're digging in and doing deep work. If you're working with me, working with another practitioner, and you're starting to dig in to do some of this work, you're probably not sitting there going like, oh my gosh, like, why do I feel shame? I'm trying to numb myself from this. I don't feel safe to be me. These are things that you're probably not saying to yourself. um it's just, these are things that come in as you start to dig a little bit deeper, and it's going to be different for everybody, different yet the same. And I've said that before, and it's going to be different, but it will be the same. So, and what I mean by that is that, it's the same order, procedure, the same types of things that you go for. But the specifics of it will be different for each person. And that's just because of different life experiences. That's because of different, limiting beliefs that we all get programmed with in the first, 6, 7 years of life. So, you know, everybody gets programmed with this stuff, and we're designed to get programmed with stuff to make us misunderstand what the hell's going on inside of us. And it's not like there's not like some big crazy mean entity out there that's doing this to us. It's just part of our human experience. So like nobody's done anything wrong. You don't need to like shake a fist at your parents or your neighbors or your sister or God. Okay. It's not about that. These things happen. And but when you want to dig in and have true self-discovery, then these things start to bubble up, and you start to realize why you have had the behaviors, the patterns that you've had. Maybe it's been really difficult to let something go. Maybe it's been like this kind of belief where you just kind of like, you're like, oh well, I don't know, I don't want to call it because what am I supposed to act like, what am I supposed to say, what am I supposed to do? And there are some, you know there were some times when, like, yes, you want to know, like, what am I supposed to say, what am I supposed to do? But for the most part, the answer is always, well, I'm just going to be me. And some people are going to like you, some people are not going to like you. Whatever, who cares? you know like, are they going to like me? Well, some will, some won't. So what? We're not meant to be liked by everybody. The thing is, this is the important thing, you need to like you. So this is a very difficult concept for a lot of people, is just being able to truly be alone and sit with themselves. It's hard, especially if you have a lot of intrusive thoughts or anxieties. You have things going on, so your mind is racing, all of these tasks that you have to complete, and you just want to escape from all of that. And that's what we do. We want to escape from all of the things that we have to do because it doesn't feel safe when we have to do all of that, and then our nervous system isn't safe, and then we're not resting properly, we're not digesting properly, and so of course we're not going to heal. We're not going to heal on the inside or on the outside while we're stuck in that state. We might do better, we might start to feel better because there are physical things that you can do, that are going to, because of scientific reasons, they're going to cause reactions inside of your body that are going to help your body work the way that it needs to. uh, but for the most part, you're going to eventually hit a wall again if you're not digging into this sort of thing, because it does need to be safe to be you. We need to be comfortable in our own skin and grateful for our bodies and the state that they're in right now. Just for, like anyone who is gaining some of that perimenopausal, menopausal weight, or has been trying to get rid of weight for years, or gained a little bit of it back, or, you know, whatever the case, I mean, women in general are really, really critical of their own bodies. So, we sit there and we say things, oh my gosh, I hate my body. I just look at a piece of cake and I gain weight. I swallow my spit and I gain 3 pounds. How come I can't, just eat Taco Bell and KFC all day long like I did in my teens and like lose weight? And honestly, I never really had that problem, if you will. I didn't. I mean, I was not overweight in high school and my early 20s, but um, you could see I could see the roundness in my face and this and that, and I wasn't like just losing weight. I mean, I maintained okay, so it was a different, time for metabolism wise, of course. But I wasn't one of those girls that was just like, oh, I lost 10 pounds. Well, no. Um, but at any rate, we need to look at ourselves and be grateful for our body, because even if your body does not look the way that you want it to right now, maybe it's not ideal, or you're working towards a goal or whatever the case is, or even worse, I hope somebody else didn't try to shame you and tell you something negative about your body, because that's always a mirror on the other person. When somebody is insulting you, it is a mirror on the other person. When somebody is judging you, it is always, always stemming from jealousy. Always. And it's a hard pill to swallow. Because every time that I now notice myself judging somebody for something, I'm like, oh my gosh. Then I'm like, ooh, what am I jealous about there? And then you just sit with it. You just have to sit there and observe it. You don't need to go like, smack yourself on the hand, go stand in the corner or something like that, or nothing like that. But we don't want to be shaming ourselves or hating our bodies. So even if you're not where you want to be right now, it's important to love your body, be thankful for it, and be so grateful for what your body has brought you through so far. Because even if there's like a whole laundry list of stuff wrong with your body right now, or has been, or maybe you've had like tons of surgeries and chronic illness and this and that, I mean, people have different things going on. Your body has still been fighting and taken you to where you are now and gotten you here now. And especially if you're sitting there, maybe you're in your car, or you're cleaning your house, you've got your earbuds in, you are listening to me right now, then you have an opportunity right now to begin to love your body and start to listen to those inner things, because those inner core wounds those are actually what create the limiting beliefs that keep you from properly healing, that keep you stuck in all of these patterns. So, um, welcome to my world, because this is truly the way to get through and to the other side of your wellness, to feel the true freedom of your health, and to break free of a system that pretty much just wants to keep you sick. Okay. And anybody who's familiar with the mainstream healthcare, can attest to that. Most of the time they are creating the problem and then giving you a solution as well. Even though it's like, oh, I broke this. Okay, now, well, I'm going to sell you the solution. Um, so, we don't need to get all into that. But the point is, I just want you to be able to be thankful for your body. and understand that it has gotten you to where you are now. And it is absolutely okay for you to show that. Maybe you have scars. Maybe you, maybe you, trying to think what else would be there other than scars that would be there for so long. But maybe there's surgeries that you've had, so you're limited on what you can do. I know I had back surgery. Oh my gosh, oh, it was like 8 years ago. So there's certain things that I have to be kind of careful. There's certain rides at the amusement park where I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't go on that one. That one I don't want to mess with it. But things like that. So there are, sometimes you have limitations, and that's just because you don't want to make something worse within your body. But nevertheless, your body got you to where you are, and everything that you have done up to now has had some sort of a meaning to it. And you don't need to decode the meaning to absolutely everything. But as you're working through things, it's just amazing how much stuff kind of pops up. And you're wondering to yourself, why can't I stop doing this thing? Why am I so stuck and dead set on doing that? I'm always doing this and I can't seem to get out of that pattern. And every time, because you always go right back. And it's these limiting beliefs, these things that were layered onto you when you were a child. You didn't even know. I didn't know either. I'm like, wow, I wish I knew. And I'm kind of like, I mean, my youngest child is 6 now. And I'm like, wow, I wish I would have known this when my kids were smaller. So, but this is where that's all coming from. When you have this you have this kind of addictive behavior, or you have this like shameful thing, or you just kind of feel like you need to put a mask on, or people might see you, and if people see me they may not like me, so I can't let people see the real me, because when they see the real me then they stop liking me and they don't call anymore. So, and I mean, for years my husband and probably my parents were the only ones that were really seeing all of me and all of the sides of me. And I'm not saying you need to go out there and show all of your friends all of the sides of you, because, there are times when, you're at your worst, or, whatever, and that's okay. But it's so often that, when we are with another person, we're with a friend or something, we behave in a certain way. And so they only know that version of you. And it takes a certain type of comfort with another soul, with another human, to feel comfortable enough to be yourself in all of those different aspects. And sometimes, I mean, there are people out there who have been themselves in a marriage, and the other, their spouse didn't like it, and so then that is very discouraging too. But I want you to know that it is okay to be you. It is safe to be you. And you absolutely should love you, because you're amazing. You're doing the things. You've come this far. It's safe to be you. And now you get to step into this next person that you're going to become. And that's going to be amazing. It really is. So I hope that this has resonated with you. I hope that there's been an aha moment. And I hope that you are just wondering, how do I work with Jess? Because I want to know more, and I want to tell you more. I really do. I don't want to give everything away on the podcast, but I want to work with you. So I am going to be doing a workshop coming up soon, and I'm going to do them pretty often. So if you miss out on the first one, don't worry, there will be another. But if you want to creep right on into my world, I want you to go to jess.deeprootedwellnessid.com/resources. If you're having trouble, you can capitalize the R in resources. That's going to give you all of my free PDFs. It's going to get you into my world. It's got all of my resources on there. And we're going to be having a party soon. So I'm so glad that you stopped by to Nourish Your Roots with me today. Thank you so much for joining me. And I can't wait to see what we're going to talk about next week, because I'm really not even sure. I just kind of go with what I'm feeling on the day of. But I'm so glad that you stopped in. And I really hope that this resonated with you, because my goal is to help others become the absolute best version of themselves that they can be. And that is in health, it's in wealth, it is in all aspects of your spiritual and your physical health. I want you to feel good about what it is that you are doing and what you're stepping into. And I want you also to feel empowered, so that you don't need to work with me or another practitioner forever and ever. Okay. Because you're going to learn enough that you're going to know what to do for yourself. Okay. You're going to know your body. And you may have questions and stuff like that, but you're going to be empowered. You are going to be this whole new version of yourself when you're done working with me. So, absolutely welcome, welcome to my world. I'm so glad that you are here, and I will. Oh, I'm sorry. I just couldn't find the button I was looking for. I will be back next week. I love you guys so much. Bye for now.